Hey, so I've had this idea for the last while, actually, before all this crazy world stuff started, of doing a video on sort of letting go versus what to hold on to. I kind of have put it off and put it off, and then yesterday something happened, and I felt like this morning in my meditation, I just felt the Spirit say, Melissa, you really need to do this video. So I hope I don't offend anybody. If I do, I'm really sorry. Everything that I'm going to say comes deeply from my heart. It's not going to be all about science or anything like that. But I do want to talk about this, the feelings that surround this. So in our world, in the entrepreneurial world, there's an outpouring of like, this is how you should talk to your customers. This is what you should do now. This is how you should support everybody. And then I'm watching those people then go and almost bombard people with so much stuff. And I've really tried to not do that. I really wanted to, in the beginning, we were like, what can we do to support you? And we're still definitely here to support you. But I think what we realized, and what we hope that those of you who follow us realize, is that we don't want to bombard you. We want to just walk alongside you. And if that means you get to consume some, great video content for free and get to know who we are and, really have that help your parenting or homeschooling, then that's great. If that means joining our Facebook group and getting some support there, that's great. If that means becoming one of our customers and being part of one of our programs, that's great. But we really, really just want to walk this with you. Always, not just during this weird time, because that's kind of where we are. We've been at this, Eric and I have been at this for almost 14 years. I was coaching before that a bit. I was a lactation, women's health, midwifery, all of those things before this path. And so I'm never not going to be here. I've just sort of been on this path. And I want to be on this path with you if you need some support. So back to the not wanting to offend anybody. I'm a pretty straight shooter. There's a lot, like my BS meter goes off probably too often. Maybe I question too much. When I was a kid, my mom used to call me Joan of Arc, like all the time. She'd be like, there goes Joan off on one of her crusades. And I can remember, like, if I sit back and I look at like who I was as an adolescent and who I was as a teen and in my early 20s and all of that. And, I think about all of the marches for midwifery that I did in Utah when I was a young mom. And I think about all of the like places that I breastfed my baby just to prove a point, like all of those things that I did in my adult life. And then, I can remember as a teenager, like I remember not drinking Coke. I didn't want to support apartheid. I remember being in those places of like truly crusading. And those are great places to be. If it's your season for that, right? So a lot of that has sort of translated into sort of where I am today. I'm 47 years old. I have 5 children. My youngest is almost 9. My oldest is 23. I've been around the block a few times. People tried to sell me some bologna that stunk on ice. But what I'm realizing right now, and sort of what happened to me yesterday, is I'm really good at compartmentalizing. It's really part of my temperament. I compartmentalize so I don't have to think about certain things so that I can think about other things. I think cholerics tend to do that really well. Sometimes too well. Sometimes it's a flaw of mine because, I might be compartmentalizing something that I need to have more empathy about. And so that's definitely been something that I've worked on a lot over the last, definitely since my stroke. So 6 years ago at least, and definitely before that as well, but more so since my stroke. So I compartmentalize so that I can sort of get through some things, especially when there are things that are hard. So if you're choleric and you find yourself stuck in management mode, well, that's why, because we're really good at sort of compartmentalizing this like management space. And if we can manage things and control things, then it's easy, right? We can control it and we know what the outcome will be, or we at least, have a pretty good idea what the outcome will be. Yeah, but this is nothing like that. So, we do really well. Eric and I communicate really well. We have an amazing relationship. We have a great relationship with our kids that are at home and a pretty good relationship with the ones that don't live at home anymore. So we're really big on communicating and connection. And so Eric and I connect every day. And sometimes that can be, especially right now, he's phlegmatic. He tends to dive deep. He was a newspaper reporter. So he's like, these numbers don't make sense. So he goes to the very analytical place and very frustrated place. And I go to it's got to be in a box. Can't think about it place. We have this goal and we have the focus, and focus equals freedom. And if we stay focused, and things will be fine. And yesterday my boxes all opened and I had a really ugly cry. Eric and I had a little just quarrel that wasn't really anything. I can't even even remember what it was about. It was something very small and minor. And I remember saying, can we have a prayer? So I don't want you to swipe away if you're somebody who doesn't pray. Just listen for a minute. I said, can we have a prayer before you go upstairs? Because I was down at my office. And he said, yeah, do you want to say it? And at first I was going to say, no, please say it. Because I just was angry. And so then I said, no, I'll say it. And what came out was all the boxes opening. And at the end of it, I was sobbing. I was having a pretty ugly cry about it. And I went a little bit deeper than of course it's okay to feel that way. Because my prayer included so much. And, it might resonate with you. It might not. You might think, I can't talk to this lady ever again. Hopefully that's not the case, but I understand. No judgment for me if that's the case. I prayed for the people who are sick from this virus. I prayed for the doctors that are helping them. I prayed for our government that needs a lot of help. Y'all, they need our prayers. I prayed for the people that are seeking truth. I prayed for the people that have lost their livelihoods. We've watched people commit suicide over this. We've watched people lose something that they've built really, they've spent years building. Then we've supported them. We've watched people go, businesses completely go under. People say, oh, well, there's this SBA stuff. You should just jump on that. Everything has strings and everything is not what it seems on this end, on the small business end. So don't say that to somebody. Don't say that to somebody. Don't judge the person that's left their house to go out and be in nature. Don't judge them. Don't judge the mom that's got crazy kids running around and had to get out of the house because if she didn't, she might spank them or beat them or scream at them again. Don't judge that mom. Don't yell, stay at home, for those that at home is not safe, or at home feels so confining, or at home breeds depression. So in my prayer, I prayed for all the people that are judging one another. We're not, the mayor has asked us to wear masks. We live in San Diego. I sort of refuse right now. And that's just out of principle that if I'm in nature, if I'm in the grocery store, sure, I'll do it. But if I'm in nature, I need to breathe the fresh air, and so do my children. So do you want to give me a ticket for exercising my constitutional right? Again, this is a big deal. It's a big deal. And it just, like I said, it all came apart. I did a lot of crying. Did a lot of crying because in a world where I tend to be able to control most things and know when to let go of control, I can't control this at all. What I can control is how I react to it. What I can control is what I look at on Facebook. What I can control is what I post on Facebook. What I can control is sort of who I let be in my space. What I can control is, how I let my children talk to me and how I listen to them because they are hurting. Yes, graduations have been canceled. The birthday parties this year. Soraya's birthday is on the 22nd. It's going to be over Zoom. Is that the end of the world? Is this a first world problem? Yeah, it is. It is, for sure. Does that mean we shouldn't be upset? No, it doesn't mean that. Does that mean we shouldn't question our government? No, it doesn't mean that. I've had so many people say to me, don't question the government. How could you question the government? I go, hello? What do you mean, how can I not question the government? Let me give you a list of about 50 things that the government doesn't do right. So it's okay. We're actually supposed to do that in this country. That's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to question. And I'm not saying protest. I'm saying ask questions. And they're supposed to be transparent with their answers, and they're not. I'm not saying this doesn't exist because I absolutely believe it exists. I know people who have lost their lives. I do. And that breaks my heart. I know, people who have lost family members, and we're watching that. Do I believe that means that we should risk everything for that? I don't know. I have a dad who has cancer. Love him to pieces. He's smart. He stays home when he needs to. My parents are not on the stay home bandwagon. In fact, my mom has golf tee times for next week. So I think that the best thing to do right now is not judge each other and to be okay with your boxes all flinging open. If you want to be in the stay home category and not go anywhere, great. I think that's fantastic for you and your family. I do. If you want to be in the no, I got to get out in nature and I have to go for a walk as long as I can, great. I support you there too. I think that's what's so hard right now. I'm seeing some amazing things. I'm also seeing some hurtful, hateful things being said to people that you can't take back. Just because somebody wants to go for a walk doesn't mean they want your grandpa to die. Like that logic is so flawed. It's so flawed. And it's so sad to me to watch people sort of do that. So if you're still here, I'm going to head back to what my original topic was, which was knowing what to let go of and knowing what to hold on to. So let's start with what to hold on to. What we are holding on to is family rhythm, and refining it in these times that even though Eric and I have always worked at home together, we've not been, we had one day a week where I went away and one day a week where he went away. So it was great. We actually both had, 4 to 6 hours of complete time to work. And we don't have that now because we can't we can get in the car, but somebody's going to stop us at some point and tell us to go back. It's just a reality. And it's the reality of living in California. I know it's not everybody's reality. Most people in our country can still move about their neighborhoods, can still, even if shops are closed, they can still sort of go out. Most people I've seen, their parks are open, their trails are open, state parks, community parks, nothing is open here. Nothing. Zero. So when you want to toss the judgment, I want you to step back and go, oh, what would it mean if I couldn't go do X? We just, before I started filming this, had the police coming up and down our streets, reminding everybody over a loudspeaker that all parks, beaches, and boardwalks are closed and that you should not even try. So that's what the reality is here. That's the reality we're faced with every day. And it doesn't matter where you are on that spectrum. That's just truth. That's what we see here. So what can I hold on to? I can hold on to that family rhythm. I can write a menu and know what we're eating every day. I can, we're a family that we're fortunate enough to be able to eat out a couple of times a week. So we're focused on those local businesses that have takeout that we don't want to see go away once this is all over. Because truly, the economic crisis that our country will be in after this is going to be bigger than anybody can imagine right now. Other countries have other things in place. The United States doesn't have those things in place, not the way other countries do. It really takes thinking about the things that European countries have in place, that Canada has in place. The United States doesn't have that in place. We don't. We have a welfare system, and we have unemployment and all of those things, but we don't have in place what other countries have in place. Other countries will rebound, and we will struggle rebounding. And that scares me. That I'm not scared easily, but that scares me. So what do? We're spending our time and our effort and the money that we do have on supporting the companies that we do and that we can. So that's what you hold on to. You hold on to what you can do. Figure out what things you can do. You can do, and do that. If I sit and think about all the things I can't do right now, my boxes are all going to be flying open, and I'm just going to be a sobbing mess all the time. And I know that's some of your realities, like not knowing what's going to happen next week, or not knowing what's going to happen May 1st. That's scary, right? It's scary to not think, but you can affect what happens right now. So that's what I'm focusing on holding on to. What can I hold on to right now? I can focus on that. I can focus on planning for school for my kids for next fall, which is something that we're doing with Waldorf Essentials. We start planning for peace on Saturday. I can focus on that. That gives me something to hold on to, because it doesn't matter if we're locked down until fall, we're going to need to have school. School is it's a constant. So that's something I can hold on to and I can focus on. I can focus on how much I love these kids and their dad. Even though we get frustrated at each other because we're in such a confined space, we can work together to have more space for each other. And so that's what I'm holding on to. I'm holding on to that. I'm holding on to things in my home that bring me joy. And I'm making a big giant pile for when the Goodwill opens or the donation places of things that we're ready to get rid of. Things that we've purged that we thought, you know what? This was okay till we had to look at it 24/7. And so we're holding on to those sorts of things, like what can we get rid of? What can we move on? What are we letting go of? We're letting go of, it's a leaning to control. And that's really hard for some people. It's really hard for me. Okay, so what can you let go of? What should you let go of right now? You should definitely let go of control if you can. And I know it's really hard. I have a really hard time letting go of control. So I'm just focusing on what's appropriate for me to control. And that's like my temper, what time I go to bed, and what time I get up. Because it's kind of funny. It sort of feels like the weekend that doesn't end, or maybe it's more like the Narnia where it's always winter and never Christmas situation. But you can focus on, you can get up every day and get dressed every day and do all of the things that you would normally do. I highly recommend you continue to do those. You see, I'm dressed every day. I'm dressed, and with very few exceptions, if I know I'm not doing a video, otherwise I get up and put makeup on so I can keep myself in that space. That's not your reality. Do what is your reality. Let go of some of the rest. Don't let go of kids' behaviors, but understand kids' behaviors. Understand that this is a hard time for them. I think I'm going to plan another video based on temperament and age groups and how I see them really responding right now, and things that we can do to support them. So that'll be another video. But let go of needing to be perfect. Let go of judgment. Of judging one another. If it's really hard for you to not judge somebody that you see on Facebook, no matter what side of this whole lovely mess they're on, then don't go on Facebook. Just don't. Find something else to fill your time. I don't know, read a book to your child, knit something, find something else to fill your time. Don't go looking for all of the, the continual updates. Let go of that. Let go of this need to know everything. Let go of the worry that comes from it right now. You know, some of people that I know are much more worried about a vaccine that could come from this. I'm sort of in that camp as well. Not sort of, I really am in that camp. But I also can't, like, it can't occupy my thoughts. It can't. I have to let go of some of that and just walk forward and do what I can and prepare my family the best way that we can without sort of the minutia of like feeling all of it. So let go of some of that. Let go of things that don't serve you in your life. You know, this is definitely a time to look at your friends list. There are people that are making you angry. You know, say your piece, set your boundary, and often that boundary is harder set with ourselves than it is with those people. So like learn to decide what to let go of. Things that I would not let go of though, I would maybe start, if you haven't, start meditating. Start spending time with understanding yourself. I was sort of thinking the other day, I love the hashtag self-care. What cracks me up is self-care doesn't have a whole lot to do with getting your hair cut or getting a massage. I mean, yeah, those are great things. Those are great ways to treat yourself. But self-care is, how do you show up? How do you understand yourself? How do you love yourself? And in turn, how do you love others? How do you show up for others? So that's true self-care, is understanding you. You know, it is definitely, you want to be kind to yourself. It's great to get a massage. It's great to get a haircut. Those are great things that before this mess, I enjoyed doing on a regular basis. But truly, self-care is how you feel about yourself. And if you have some incorrect thoughts about yourself that you have to, sort of excavate, now's a great time to do that, because we're sort of faced with the sometimes worst parts of ourselves right now, that we're in an emergency situation, or I suppose it's not an emergency anymore, but in a situation where we are just faced with this new normal. And I refuse to see this as a normal. It's a temporary situation. So I hope that this has been helpful. I can't fix it. Don't want to. This is bigger than me, way bigger than me. What I can do is walk next to you, no matter where you feel about things. You know, I do continually pray for those that are sick, for those that need help, for those that are tending to the sick, for those that are seeking truth, for those that are trying to understand the reality and the realness of this, not what the news would have us believe. All of those things. I'm here for you. I hope you can hear me from my heart, and have a good week.